Thanks for staying with us. So we have the chairman of the Economic Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, Abdulrasheed Bawa, to discuss the anti-corruption drive of the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Yes, last time you were here, you were the zonal commander in Lagos State, and we're really happy about it. Just for us to hear, better being he's in Abuja, talking to the president and all that. Tell us, how was the transition from coming from Lagos State and now having to deal with the national cases on EFCC?
Well, thank you very much once again for having me. The transition has been good. You know, all my life I've worked at the EFCC. The EFCC's job is the only job that I've done in my life. As a young officer, you know, rising through the ranks, I never expected that, of course, you know, I will reach the peak of my career at such a young age. Well, of course, when it happens, I was, as one of our elders have said before, some years back, I was besieged by several emotions of pride, emotions of humility, emotions of joy, and all of that. And it's really a good feeling that I and my colleagues, you know, are now at the helms of affairs at the EFCC, you know, doing what we have to do or what we have been trained to do to ensure that this country is rid of economic and financial crimes. Right. But of course, you know, being an investigator is different from being a team leader, from being a sectional head, from being a zonal commander. And then, of course, being the chairman is a different ball game in its entirety. Now that you have the entire country, you know, at your disposal, you know, to ensure that things are done rightly and correctly. The timing, of course, is not enough. 24 hours always, you know, you have to work and ensure that building the system as well as reaching out.
When you got the job, what did the president tell you? When you doing that, what did he tell you? What was the brief? What did he tell you after you became chairman? What did he tell you?
Morayo, do you think that I will sit here and tell you what I discussed with the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Everybody knows the president's stand, you know, on corruption. Everywhere, you know, we have his picture looking down on us, you know, reminding us that if we don't kill corruption, corruption would kill this country. The political will that the country has been clamoring for, you know, for the fight against corruption is now here with us. You know, everybody has seen that. Everybody is having the feeling, you know, that corruption is being fought. And that has been the position or the life of His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And that is what the EFCC is set out to do. So discussion is on that path. You know, we are the professionals. We should go and do what we have to do to ensure that the country is rid of the menace of corruption.
Yes. So, you know, I was thinking that I'm sure it didn't take you, you didn't have enough time to even enjoy that period, that congratulatory period, because you had to hit the ground running. And a lot of people have said, you know, we're seeing you a lot on TV, we're seeing you at court cases as witness. You seem quite hands-on and involved. Is this a strategy of yours? Is this how it should be done? Or what is this specifically your strategy that you brought in place so that people see you front and center?
Well, of course, every leader is supposed to, you know, lead from the front, you know, and you have to lead by example. I have to be there. I have to show that, yes, it can be done and all of that. But I think maybe if I understand you correctly, you are trying to say, why is it that maybe as the chairman I'm in court or I'm testifying and all of that?
Big man chairman now, you're at the back. We have to call and call and call before we reach big man chairman. But this chairman is in front.
No, but I'm a practitioner. You know, I think the difference is the fact that, of course, chairman is more of a supervisor, is more of a coordinator of how things should be done, how things should be carried out. But then before I became the chairman, I have investigated quite a number of cases myself. I have cautioned a lot of people. I have, you know, witnessed recording of statements. I have carried out, you know, several investigation activities from what do you call it, from statement, analysis of the complaint, of course, up to the conclusion of sending the case to legal department. So I have to be the one to testify in those cases that I was deeply involved from the beginning.
Right.
And it so happened that I'm the chairman, and then I have to go to the court to testify
right.
as an investigator.
Very busy.
So that is what it is.
All right, so let's talk about the job proper.
Yes.
You have, the EFCC has been in the news recently and lately for barging into people's rooms in the middle of the night in commando style. And a lot of Nigerians are not really finding it funny. We've seen videos on social media where innocent people came out to say, I just went to this hotel to have a good time, and then EFCC officials barged in and they couldn't even apologize. They told me, you know, those stories have been out there. What do you say about this? Is this the style that we should now begin to expect and adopt, that this is the way EFCC operates? Or do you think it's just the overzealousness of some of your officials?
Neither of such. You see, BC, the EFCC is an institution that was established in 2002. We have done quite a lot in investigation and prosecution of cyber criminals and, you know, advanced fee fraudsters, if I am allowed to use that word. It is not part of who we are, you know, by our mandate to be violent in nature and whatever. After all, economic and financial crimes are non-violent crimes by definition. If you look at the provision of Section 46 that define economic and financial crime, it is defined in there as the non-violent, you know, crimes carried out by group of individuals in an organized manner, etc., etc. Now, we're in the world of social media, where one small thing can be amplified to look as if that is what we are doing, or that is what you are doing as an individual or as a group. It is not in our character. That is not what we set out to do. That is not what has happened. You know, look, from January to date, we have arrested nothing less than 2,000 alleged suspected cyber criminals across this country. And then you have one or two, you know, persons complaining about something. Of course, we need to be concerned, you know, about human rights, about people's privacy, etc., etc. But then, if you look at the statistics vis-a-vis people that were arrested or people that are complaining that this is what has happened and all of that, then we're looking inwards to see that where we are wrong, you know, we correct that and we admit, we apologize, you know, and then we move on. But I want to assure you that all the sting operations that we carried out, we carried them professionally. We carried them within the ambit of the law. You know, we are a law-abiding institution, and will continue to be a law-abiding institution to the latter.
So let's share a few victory stories. You've been appointed since 24th of February this year, and I would like you to share, because many times Nigerians have been, over the years, built a level of distrust of the system. And I always say that because we don't hear enough from our officers, whether officers of the law or political officers, we don't know they are working. We don't believe they are working. I would like you to tell us, since you came on board in February 2021, what are the cases you've won, cases you lost, recoveries that have been made, landmark achievements that you would say this journey has been worth it for you so far, and that would encourage Nigerians to keep trusting EFCC to continue to do the job they've been created to do?
Yes, I think, I don't know whether I'm qualified to say that, but as a Nigerian, I know that we have to learn to trust our leaders. Very important. You know, how can somebody wake up in the morning, dress up, see his children off to school, and then set out to go to his office, and then he will not be working? You understand? You understand? The Nigerians should expect that people are working. But are we working maybe to expectation in all strata of government? You know, some are not, etc., etc. But coming down to what you said, you know, the 3,816 officers of the EFCC, I assure you, since when I came on board, they have been cooperative. We have been working round the clock, you know, to ensure that we are solidifying our stand in the country as an institution. We are engaging stakeholders. We are collaborating with, stakeholders from within and outside this country. And let me tell you this, we deliberately try to, change some strategies regarding how some of these things are being done. But yesterday, one of your, colleagues asked me in court, and I told her that we have recorded from January to the 4th of November 2021, an unprecedented 1,499 convictions.
Wow.
Now, this morning, I received a briefing regarding, the number of convictions that we have secured as at yesterday. And the number is 1,576. That is an unprecedented number of convictions.
Right. Convictions mean that they're going to jail. Do
Yes.
we have space to accommodate these people?
Yes, of course.
Oh, we do?
Yes,
So I always thought we didn't have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you mentioned about this. Out of this, we are changing the narratives here, because I also want to report that 122 were discharged and acquitted. Now, compare that, with the success that we have recorded in terms of convictions, and that is, it shows that we have lost, if I want to use that word loss, I don't want to use it, but they were discharged, less than 10%.
Right.
So that means for the number of convictions, if you compare, as a way of measurement, you will see that, yes, 90% of the time we are successful in court.
All right, so let me ask you this. What are some of your frustrations as an EFCC chairman? Because this is Nigeria. There's always a Nigerian factor. There are big men, there are big connections, long legs. And what are some of your frustrations as a chairman? What have you seen that's impeded your success so far?
Attitude of Nigerians.
Okay.
At what
Generally,
level? Up, low?
Everywhere. There's problem everywhere, Morayo. Let me tell you. A tomato seller will want to put in the bad ones, beneath the basket. And then the good ones on top. What is she doing? She's trying to cheat.
Corruption.
Because that is where she has the opportunity to do that.
At every level.
A commissioner in a state, a governor of a state, a minister, that is where he has the opportunity. And that is why he is doing what he has to do. Have you ever been to the airport and you want to ease yourself and you enter the toilet and you see the way the boys are behaving to you and all of that? They are trying to do as if they want to do you a favor by giving you tissue or by giving you, I don't know how they do that. They will understand that, I'm a Muslim somehow, and then everybody will be rushing to go and get me a kettle so that I will ease myself with it and all of that, trying to find a way of getting something out of you and all of that. So it's the general attitude of Nigerians, and if you spread the map, Morayo, you will tend to agree with me that this country is a very religious country. There is no country in this world that, that is as religious as this country. The number of churches we have, the number of mosques we have, the way we are passionate about that. That's supposed to reflect in our character as Nigerians, to do the right thing always. You understand? To change our attitude and ensure that, in every facet of our life, wherever you find yourself, you are doing the right thing. This country is rich enough, is big enough, is, to take care of itself. I think that is the biggest frustration. Wherever you thought you are going to see some of these things manifesting. But we are optimistic, things are changing in this country. Opportunities are being blocked to do some of these things, and people are talking. On our part, we are trying to engage religious bodies to ensure that, they preach some of these problems of anti-corruption to the extent that people will realize that, look, we have that collective responsibility to ensure that the right thing is done always for the betterment of everybody.
Yeah. So I commend the EFCC for the numbers that you just mentioned, But Nigerians now, we say that's small fry. Let's talk about the big time ones.
Big fish.
Exactly. There are two right now, out there. So we have the MENA, when Nigerians are saying, okay, EFCC did this job, we got him to be prosecuted, but how does EFCC feel about that sentence? Nigerians say that it's not commensurate to what he's done. And also the unending case of Desiani and all the things that they keep selling and reselling. What's happening with that?
Have you sold the jury also?
Well, let me start with the first.
Let me also add,
Yes.
they are also accused EFCC of bungling some of their court cases. Our lawyers not good enough, and the prosecuting lawyers are they better equipped and better prepared than EFCC lawyers?
Mariam, you have asked 10 questions in one, so you have to help me to break them so that I will answer them. Well, let me start by telling you, that it is all within our mandate to investigate small fries, as you call them, as well as the big fries. But the length of time in which you need to conclude an investigation of an alleged advance fee fraudster is different from the length of time that you require to investigate the big fish that you talk about, because you are talking about complex money laundering type of cases, that requires you to travel beyond the shores of this country to engage, with several other law enforcement agencies across the shores of this country. So you tend to see that the turnover of cases involving some of these small fries, let me use your word, is very high. It's part of our mandate to investigate, to enforce Advance Fee Fraud and Other Related Offences Act, the Cybercrime Law, and all of that. So, but I want to assure you that the big cases you are talking about, we are working tirelessly on them. And I know that, God willing, before the end of this year, we are going to commence prosecution of a lot of some of these big fries you talk about. There are former governors or former ministers, whatever you are going to see.
I'll come to BC, but I want to ask about this big fry a bit, because someone like Emina, he's been convicted. He's going to 8 years, right? I think it's 8 years.
8 years he got.
Help us describe the cell he's going to. Is it a nice living room, house, pretty, or is it like the movies where it's one color 6 by 2 feet, like a regular cell? They're dirty, and he's going to be eating from
hard labor.
Give us let Nigerians have a picture of where Mina is going.
Let me start by answering what Mariam have asked, in relation to the subject. The subject has been convicted, he has been convicted. We are very happy with the judgment. He's going to serve 8 years, cumulatively it's about 60 years. Restitution is made to the government, of course, and all of that. So we still have another case against him, and of course the civil for future proceedings, taking place. In relation to the question asked by Mariam regarding that, I think you need to invite the CG of Correctional Services to answer that. Ours is to go to the court, present our case, and then at the end of the day, the judge will make pronouncement, and then of course we hand over to the people that are supposed to put him in custody.
You
have asked about it. Let me just, the government have not sold a single,
that brand that is
property recovered, etc., etc. So we are working towards that.
Did you touch that brand? Did you touch it? Did you touch it? Did you touch that brand? Did you see it? Or you're just hearing about it, or did you the jury? Did you feel it with your hands to know that it's diamond, or it's just telling you it's diamond? I want to know, because
on the lighter notes. Please add.
You have accused us several times of media trial, but I think it's good to be fair to everybody at all times. Justice is a two-way thing. There was nothing like diamond bra. It's just the creation of
I saw a picture.
Social media.
What?
I can tell you that for free, because I'm the lead investigator on that, so I can tell you that. Don't
Nigeria
be
will not kill me.
Front page.
Surprised on that and all of that.
Wow.
I'm not aware of it. And if there is something like that, I should know, because I led the search and all of that. So
Thank you for clarifying.
This is serious.
We the people.
and that is one of the things that I mentioned to you, that I think the biggest problem that we have is our attitude. And all of that. We need to change for better.
Yeah, so I watch a lot of American films, permits me, and a bit worried about the modus operandi of some people who have been invited to the EFCC. So what we see in most of these Hollywood movies is the fact that they would profile, they would investigate before they finally invite you and question you and, arrest you if there is a need for it.
Yeah.
But we hear a lot of young Nigerians come out to say, I was invited, I was questioned, I was detained for a few days, and then they released me without telling me what I have done. There's no case against me, and then they take my personal effects. So can you help us clear on your modus operandi, how exactly you investigate and,
It's not true. You see, it's not true. Look, there are instances whereby somebody is arrested, for instance, on his way to, let's say, Dubai, carrying some hard currencies that he has not declared. So he's already arrested based on the fact that he has not declared those things. And then, of course, he's being handed over to the EFCC for further investigation. So is there any time to say, no, we're not going to arrest you. We want to go and profile you first and then come back and arrest you? No.
No, that's a different case.
So that's a different case. There are instances whereby we have an intel to say that, no, look, this place or this building, is warehousing, suspected advanced fee fraudsters. You understand? And, of course, you have to act. You understand? But, of course, there are some other cases where we go on with our investigation for 1 year, for 2 years, for 3 years without any invitation. People can be mischievous, to say all sorts of things. But what you said regarding the movies, they are movies, they are fictions, and all of that.
All right, let someone jump in here.
It's not in every instance that you need to profile this, you need to do this, you need to do that. At times, of course, during the course of your investigation, you reach, a point where you need to invite that person to come and answer and shed more light. Because, of course, even if you charge him to court, he is innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
So he can be asked to come, a few questions will be asked.
Right.
How can you invite somebody without telling him what he has done or why you are inviting him?
Exactly.
Come on.
We see that in
at least...
So, sir, let me quickly throw in 2 quick questions. You've been in EFCC almost like the inception, like they started in 2003, you joined 2004, and you've been blessed to be at the head. We know that in every agency there's the Nigerian element of corruption. Since your appointment as the chairman of EFCC, have you prosecuted any within the EFCC? Has anybody been fired for misconduct on investigation or found corrupt within the EFCC? Do you have any statistics of such? Number one. Number two is there is an incessant, in recent times, back-to-back, breaking news of investors going bad, investments going bad, and would like to find out from you, what is the process? How can we involve EFCC for those watching who's invested money and found out that is a Ponzi scheme or something? How do they resolve it? So those are the 2 questions.
Yes, EFCC is among the few government agencies that have a full-fledged Department of Internal Affairs. It's like the police of the EFCC. The department was established in 2013. It has a director, they have their own staff, et cetera, et cetera. And the department is well equipped to do all of that. They have a file on me, they have a file on anybody in the EFCC, and they are looking at us. I also want to let you know that that department, is also licensed. We have the equipment for polygraph. Testing capability. We have it there, where scientifically somebody can be asked on things. And for the first time in the history of court processes in Africa, polygraph test was tendered in court and it was admitted. You understand? So even if we don't have, clear, evidence and all of that, some of these things can help, to enable us have an indication of whether somebody is lying also. I want to tell you that, look, with deep heart, I have had cause to approve dismissal of several officers since when I resumed office. Because of instances of that, of course, human beings are always human beings. You will have some bad elements from within the system. And we are looking, towards, ensuring that we act, the way we're supposed to act, the way we're acting on others, and also on us as well. So if you have anything, against anybody, write to us, and we'll ensure that it is being investigated to the latter. This issue of investment scam that you mentioned, Tope, is something that we have observed. We are working, on that. In fact, as at the last briefing, when we aggregate all the complaints involving investment scam, as well as employment scam, you understand, Nigerians have complained to us to have lost over 200 billion naira.
What?
In complaint. It's a huge problem. It's a Ponzi scheme that is going on left, right, center, and Nigerians have to be wary about anybody that is promising you, some, mind,
money doubling
kind of interest. How can you invest 500,000 and somebody is promising you 50,000 naira every month, and then at the end of that,
you collect your 500.
You collect your 500 back? What is he doing? What is he into? Is he investing in stock exchange? Is he into, what is he into? You understand? Why is it that he's the only person among the 250 million Nigerians that has that idea, to come up with, kind of investment that is bringing in this return? What they are doing is simply what it is, a pyramid scheme. Take from this, give this, take from the new investors.
Well, how does the EFCC help those that have gotten trapped?
We have been working, we are still working tirelessly, on all of that, in all the commands. Is subject of our discussion, I think, even at the last meeting with all the commanders across the zonal offices. We are working. So anybody that has a complaint, please let him come forward with it. And
do they recover the money?
Yes, we have. In some instances, we do. In others, these people are just...
they don't have the money to
They don't have the money because they are taking your money and they are giving it to another person.
So
it is very, very difficult for us to recover 100% of such funds.
One of my concerns is that if we are truly ready to fight corruption, we'll take your job very seriously, because I think you don't have enough operators. You have less than 4,000 operators across the country. If corruption, if we see if it's like the bedrock of one of our issues, we should be able to go out there and launch this huge recruitment plan where we have, in 5 human beings, one is a EFCC operator.
No.
We're trying to beat corruption, because the tomato seller is there, the bus driver is there, the banker is there, the politician is there. They are different levels.
No, Marayo. We are not. We are optimistic that things will change for better. There are things to consider. You have the prevention aspect. You have the enforcement aspect and the asset recovery aspect. In the EFCC, some weeks ago, we launched our strategic plan. And we have the 4 strategic objectives are in there, for everybody to see. One of the objectives there is the increased public engagement in the fight against corruption. Okay. Me being here is part of it. You understand? We want Nigerians to be on board. We want Nigerians to take ownership of this wherever they are. So we don't have to police everybody. We are embracing technology. One of the objectives that we have there is to have intelligence-driven investigation, prevention, and asset recovery. That is the way to go. You have to embrace technology to be able to monitor this, to be able to, ensure that you are checkmating this thing without necessarily having humans, doing all of that. One of our strategic objectives, is to have and improve, coordination and, collaboration with relevant stakeholders. You have other stakeholders that are out there. We have other law enforcement agencies. So you need not to have an EFCC that has 200,000 or 300,000 so that, no. We need to engage. We need to learn to trust our leaders. And then, of course, we are working towards seeing that system and processes, are improved, for the prevention of this crime. So it's not about the number. We are comfortable about the number, and we will, of course.
Let me get one final question for you before we run out of time. Go ahead.
My one is the whistleblower policy and the whistleblowers' safety. Going forward, how far and how well has that worked for the EFCC? Are we getting a lot of people who are willingly coming forward to give information? And secondly, I think you should help me answer the question about the lawyers, the caliber of lawyers the EFCC has.
Let me answer the last one. we have wonderful, wonderful set of lawyers, you know, that are doing wonders, and that is why you can see that they have won 90 out of 100, or more than 90 out of 100. Look, there is no institution of government that have contributed to the development of law in the last 10 years than the EFCC. Go and check the records. We're busier than any government agencies in court. You understand? I believe we have the second biggest law chamber in this country, maybe behind that of the Attorney General of the Federation. So the lawyers are good. The lawyers are trying their best. We are learning every day. You understand? We have a very good, cordial working relationship with the judiciary. The judiciary have been helpful, you know, from the CJN to the President of the Court of Appeal to the various CJs across, you know, to the judges. And it's for everybody to do and to work together to ensure that, you know, we have sanity in this country. Your second question is on what, Mariam?
Whistleblower.
Whistleblower. I want to appeal to Nigerians that they should all go ahead and download our Eagle Eye. We recently launched an app where you can download, and with ease you will be able to report any economic and financial crime. I want to assure Nigerians that once you do that, we will be able to look at it and deal with it based on its own merit. Nigerians are assisting us with that. You know, they are sending a lot of complaints, and we are working with that. And one of the recent complaints we received through the app led us to a recovery of a very big, you know, real estate in Lagos here, valued at over 400 million.
Wow.
So please key in. Is about our own public engagement to ensure that, you know, Nigerians are involved. So report this thing. If you didn't say something, you know, the EFCC will not do something. But if you say something, we will surely do something, and the country will be better for it.
Thank you very much. I think on that note, we have to wrap up. Thank you very much. We'll be speaking with the chairman of the EFCC, Mr. Bawa. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you very much for having me. Only that the studio is full of, there's no gender balance here. You know,
that's all we can take on the show. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
We did not ask you that.